Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, she came to America at the tender age of 8. She didn't even speak English, and now she's one of the top realtors in North Texas. Her incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I think I speak for a lot of Americans. We like to make excuses. We say, man, if I was only born into a different family, if I was born in a different town, if there was a different president. And I think it's all excuses, because when you meet a guest like my next guest, it reframes every one of your thoughts. Von Truong is in the studio. She's a very successful realtor. She's my friend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. So I want you to take me back, 1975, as a history lesson. Saigon was falling and your family escaped.
That's right.
Tell us that story.
Actually, we didn't know that we would never go back. We had to leave without telling anyone. So my father was a colonel in the Air Force in Vietnam at the time. And he was told to have his family gathered to leave, and just a backpack, and he wasn't going to leave. He had to stay to fight the war. So we flew out in the middle of the night in a military plane. We flew to Guam.
And you were telling me you end up having to make a decision where to live in the United States, and you all voted Texas because you liked the Westerns on TV.
Well, in Vietnam at that time, the only 2 U.S. shows or on television was Bonanza and Wild Wild West. So we all, tuned in to watch those shows. So we thought coming to Texas would see cowboys and Indians. And how disappointed we were when we got there. We didn't see any of those.
And then you end up in this little teeny town at the time called Plano. I mean, we could probably look it up, but I imagine Plano wasn't more than 50,000 people at that time.
It was probably much less than that.
Really?
Because nobody knew what Plano was.
Wow.
Even when we went to college at North Texas University.
Yes.
And when they asked where we live, we say Plano. They said, like, Plano, where is that? And I don't know if you remember, but in 75, there was a University of Plano on Custer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so our family, among with other families that chose to come to Texas, stayed in the dormitory of the University of Plano, which no longer exists.
We're going to talk about her real estate career in a minute, but I want to talk about you. You actually spent 8 years teaching at Hockaday.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I graduated from North Texas with my master's in French, and during the summer, I worked at Sackowitz Village. I don't know if you remember, off of Beltline, the tollway. And my really wonderful, loyal client was the English teacher at Hockaday. Her name is Kay Boroff. And she said, and I told her, I said, at the end of this next week, I will no longer be working, because I now going to teach chemistry at the Plano Senior High. And I got scholarship to go to France for 3 months. So I'm saying goodbye, make sure, But she's, oh my gosh, but you speak French. I teach at Hockaday, and Hockaday is looking for a French teacher. And at that time, I had no idea what Hockaday was. And I said, Hocka what? And it's Dallas. So I said, no. She said, no, why don't you come have lunch with me to see what the school is like? I said, okay. So I drove like forever to get to Hockaday. And of course, I was so overwhelmed because, Hockaday was a very private, prestigious
Sure.
school. And I had to check in at the front desk, and I have to tell them who invited me and all of that. So I had lunch with her, and right after that, she introduced me to Helen Lorenz, who is the middle school head at Hockaday. And Helen said, well, Vaughn, and she started speaking French with me, of course. And she goes, Vaughn, my next class, I'm short of a French teacher's an 8th grade class. And the teacher's on maternity leave, and the substitute called in sick. So do you mind, teach the class for us? And I'm going, I wasn't prepared. And I said, well, what is the lesson? She goes, oh, it's about the body parts. And I said, okay, well, I can do that. So it was 8th grade. So I asked her if the students, when did they start French? And she said, since preschool. So I thought, okay, 8 years, so they must speak French, fluently. So I started going and speaking French with them, and they just looked at me like, huh?
Well, here's what this tells me about you, Vaughn. You're very adaptable because you get thrown into unusual circumstances and you always come out on top. I want to bridge into real estate because that's where you've spent the last couple decades. You started by flipping houses. Is that right?
Well, with teaching, you have a lot of holidays.
Sure.
3 months of summer. And I got my real estate license just to buy distressed properties, to fix it up and flip. So eventually, you sell it. You sell the house, and people would come in and say, oh, well, I want something else, right? Not many would want the exact house that they look at. So I said, no, I'm teaching, just buy this one. I don't know what else to show. And they eventually say, oh, there's this one here. So I started doing that. And that summer, I actually sold like 4 houses, which almost equal to 1 year of teaching.
And you said, I have other
what? I think this is what I need to do.
Well, and you're with an amazing company, Remax.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and pull up her website. And as we scroll down the website, I want you to brag about the company that you work with.
The reason I chose Remax, because it's an international company, Jeff. We're in over 90 different countries. And because I speak 3 different languages, as you can see, the French, Vietnamese, and English, and a little bit of Spanish. Yes. So I wanted to be in an international environment. And I did a lot of research before I, chose Remax. And referrals from different countries, from France, Asia, India, So that's why I chose Remax. Even though Remax at the time, even now, at that time, they didn't take part-time agents. Okay. And it's only 100%, which means you pay a big, hefty fee every month, regardless if you sell or not.
Wow.
Yes.
But you took a chance on yourself.
I did. I said, that's what would motivate me to work hard, to do what I really want. Once I choose something, I'm determined to make it work. I'm determined to be successful.
And I think you won just about every award there is to win in real estate. And
yes.
He's also an author. So let's go ahead and pull up the cover of your book, My Secret Wealth of Information for Any Seller. Give us one of the tips that they'll learn in the book.
I started out as an educator. So to me, real estate is to educate the public, either a buyer or a seller, to make the best decision moving forward.
Sure.
Based on my experience and based on my recommendations. So to me, it's not about selling real estate. It's about educating.
Yes.
So.
Well, I would be remiss not to ask for your predictions for the market because, if we go back 2 or 3 years ago, any realtor could sell a house. That was when everything was kind of blase and going. It's been kind of slow and sluggish. What do you see for 2025?
I am hopeful. I really think 2025 is going to be a lot better than 2024. Actually, right after the election, I have seen the market picked up. Buyers are looking to buy, and more houses are coming on the market. And right now, I'm seeing more and more listings that are coming on the market.
And that's what I'm experiencing too, even in our company. There were a lot of people kind of waiting for the election, and now they're like, okay, Jeff, I'm ready to go. So I agree with you. I think there's an optimism that we haven't seen in a few years.
Absolutely.
One of the things I love about Vaughn is she does a great job marketing the homes. She creates these wonderful videos. Let's go ahead and show one. And I want you to just kind of narrate this for us. So when you approach a home, you're trying to give them really kind of a 360 view of the home.
On Matterport, yes. I have two different kinds. One is a Matterport, of course, that you can just actually walk through the house. And the other one is a virtual tour. Because there's some people that get dizzy looking at Matterport, right?
Yes.
So I offer both, which a lot of realtors do not. Because, of course, by doing that, you spend more money. But what is our job as a listing agent? Our job is to promote, to market the property. So as many people can see the house and as many people can come in to view the house, then we'll have more showings, and in turn, we have more offers.
And I bet you've been doing this long enough that not only are you doing repeat business with customers, but you're probably doing business with their kids now.
Actually, my 3 kids don't want to do what I do.
No kidding. Are your kids are not realtors?
No. I train them in the summer. I have them come and pick up signs and put up signs and go with me to showings. And at first, they were excited. Oh, wow, this is easy. Just put a sign in the yard and you get big bucks. Just like what the public thinks, right? Until I said, well, you got to go at this time to show, 7:30 p.m. or 8 o'clock or Saturday, Sunday. They said, oh, why can't we tell them that we're only available at this time? I said, honey, we have to do what the clients need, not what you need. And they said, well, that's too much for us.
But I bet they're picking up stuff just by observing that mom is a hard worker, and you didn't take anything for granted.
That's right.
In the final minute or so, I want you to look into the camera on the left and give people words of encouragement and more of a pep talk on, no matter what you're going through tenacity, prayer, and overcoming adversity, you can succeed.
Absolutely. I do believe that hard work and taking care of people is what make people successful. Especially, that's for me. That's what I have experienced. And honestly, luck does come to that. I do believe that hard work will eventually turn into luck. And of course, God. Without God, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
Because I've gone through so much, Jeff. And that's what I believe right now. God really had blessed me to be where I am today and to give me what I've got. I'm just feel extremely blessed.
Wow. What a great way to end the show. We're also going to leave you with her website, which is VaughnSellsHomes.com. The great Vaughn Truong. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.